Hey guys, it is me. It is TK Barlow from the Barlow Group Tax and Accounting Firm. So, listen, tonight, we are talking about being aware of ghost preparers, what they mean, how to avoid them, and what you should do to protect yourself. So, we do have a member of the Barlow Group team here with us tonight. So, we are here to answer your questions and give you the tips that you would need in order to have a successful tax season. All right. So I am going to, first of all, make sure that I am live on my platform. So give me 1 second here. Yep, we are live. All right. We're live there. And then let me check if we are live in the group. I'm not sure if we're live in the group though. Okay, so we are going to move forward. And so, team member, do you want to introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Deidre Miner. I am a new member to the to the Barlow Group, and I
Mm-hmm.
look forward to helping out as much as I can and just making sure you have a great tax season.
Yes, yes. So, have you ever heard, or do you have any stories, or do you know anybody that has been like scammed when it comes to tax season? Or because I know for me, a lot of people come and say, TK, I don't know what happened to my tax preparer last year. And they all have like a traumatic story. Have you came across that at all?
So I am new to Georgia, and
Mm-hmm.
I am like 3 years in. And that's funny you
Mm-hmm.
asked. So my first year, of course, I'm not familiar with anyone. I'm just, hanging out. And I had a young lady that I basically I she was I felt like she was trying to scam, but
What?
yeah, she went ghost. So I know how that could be very stressful and scary at the same time. But she eventually came around, I think the day of, and
Mm-hmm.
the thing is that I was paying her for three separate tax preparations. So that was myself and my two daughters. So yeah, it didn't quite happen, but I feel like the stress level that I had up until I found her again
Mm-hmm.
was uh was horrible. So no, I would
Yeah.
not want to put anybody in that position.
Yes, and so that definitely happens. It is a real thing. Ghost preparers, that is a real terminology that the IRS even uses. They tell you, okay, these are some tips for you to avoid ghost preparers. And so every year, I really like to do go live and to be able to give these tips out because it's a real thing. And at least, like, probably every couple of weeks I have somebody contacting me because they have either been ghosted or they cannot, they have issues with their tax preparations and they cannot get a hold to their tax preparer. One lady, she came into my office. This is probably like a year ago. She came into my office because the tax preparer that she had the previous year, they were just shut down totally. And I know some tax preparers do work only seasonally, and so that's totally fine. But the thing is, can you get in touch with your tax preparer after tax season? Like that should be one of the questions that you ask. Okay. So the IRS gives us tips as taxpayers how to hire a good tax preparer. And so I want to go over a couple of these just to make sure you know that we have these fresh in our minds and that we kind of take heed to what the IRS is even stressing us to do. So the first thing you want to do is you want to check your preparer's qualifications. All right. So there are a lot of tax preparers. There are a lot of people, filing taxes. And so when I know for me, even as when I first started, everybody is not an enrolled agent. Everyone may not be a CPA. Everyone may not be an attorney, but are they still qualified to prepare your taxes? And the question to that is yes, they don't have to be an enrolled agent. They don't have to be a CPA. They don't have to be an attorney to be eligible to prepare taxes. However, you do want to make sure that they have what we call a P10 number. All right. So the P10 number is issued by the IRS. This number allows a tax professional to be able to file your taxes in exchange for a payment, right? So that means that if they are filing your taxes, then if they're filing your taxes and you are being charged for them to file your taxes, then they need to have a P10 number, okay? So the P10 number doesn't really mean that they have had ample education. However, they do have the opportunity to go through the IRS courses, you know, the tax courses that the IRS provides, as well as the annual refresher courses that the IRS also provides. So you want to make sure that they at least have, you know, their P10 number before you are doing business with someone that is saying, hey, I can do your taxes. Okay. Then you know what else? It's not bad to ask questions. You know, you want to say, hey, well, how many years have you been filing taxes? You know, how much experience do you have? You want to be able to, you know, to at least get some type of foundation to where they're saying, hey, you know, yes, I file taxes. And then it's even better if they are a part of a team of people, to where, you know, you may have a new person that is filing taxes, but when they have a team behind them, you still have that experience and confident that the team all collectively together is able to provide you with good services. Okay. So you want to, you know, ask about their history, ask about their qualifications. And most importantly, you want to ask, you know, what is the service fee? You know, how much are you charging to do my taxes? Because one thing you want to look out for is anybody that is providing services based on a percentage. All right. If you have any taxpayer that's saying, hey, I'll file your taxes and then I'll take 10-15% off whatever you get back, that is not something that that a taxpayer should be doing. And when a taxpayer is operating under the P10, they also have certain rules and regulations that they have to abide by. Okay. And so one of them is definitely this: you cannot charge a taxpayer a percentage of anything that they are getting back. All right. So that is definitely a no. You want to make sure that they, you know, when they quote you on their prices, that they are giving you whatever their rates are, whether that is, you know, per form or whether it is a flat fee. But you definitely don't want someone to say, hey, you know, I'll do your taxes, but you got to give me 20% or whatever you get back. That's a no. All right. So another thing is, you know, you want to ask if they are doing e-file, right? So e-file is basically when your taxes are prepared and your tax preparer is able to e-file through their system. And so this is something you want to do because you don't want your filings to be delayed, all right? Because we know when you are trying to do something through the mail, when you're trying to get those signatures and mail them out, there is a time limit. And so if you are waiting to, you know, the last minute to have your taxes filed, you want to make sure that either they're able to e-file or you have ample time. If you have to do a paper mailing, that there is ample time for, you know, to get those filings to the IRS. All right. Another thing that we kind of already touched on was you want to make sure that your preparer is going to be available, right? After tax season, ask them, say, hey, are you going to be available for me to contact you just in case I have a problem, just in case I get a letter back from the IRS, a notice, because that happens as well. One thing that we kind of assume is that you have to have issues with your tax filing in order for you to be audited. And that is not true. You could just be the one that is chosen for an audit. And in the case of an audit, you're going to have to make sure that you're able to back up anything that was in that tax filing. And sometimes you have to get a hold to that tax preparer and say, hey, this is what I'm going through. Are you able to assist me, or are you able to suggest someone that can help me? But you want to make sure that in that case, even if you just need a copy of that filing, you want to make sure that you're able to get in contact with your tax preparer, right? Yeah. You want to piggyback off anything there, Miss Minor? Or are you good over there? I'll just keep pushing
We
through.
good over here.
Okay.
But I do want to maybe take it in a different direction.
Mhm.
What I've been hearing a lot is I had my taxes prepared, but they said, they there's no agent. They always put self-prepared.
Yeah. That's on the list too with the IRS. Um, that's a big one, because what happens is someone has prepared their taxes, and then when it comes down to the self-prepared line, they are having the client sign that line. And then, so if anything comes back from the IRS, if they have any questions, or if there are any penalties or fees, if something is done inappropriately, then that tax preparer is off the hook, because they haven't signed. They did not sign as the tax preparer. And so that's a problem too.
Yeah. Sometimes,
Yeah.
a lot of us don't pay attention to what they're signing. And
Mm-hmm.
so that is definitely something we should be aware of.
Yeah, that's actually on this list. But that's a huge problem. And so that's where it goes back to that P10. If you have someone that has that P10, when they file your taxes, they're not only is their name going to go in that spot, but also their P10 number is going to go where it needs to go to, so that that they go as the paid tax preparer, meaning that the tax client has paid them to do the services. And so since they are the person that's doing the services, they have to, stand by the rules and the regulations when it comes to preparing someone taxes. So when you guys are out there getting your taxes done, make sure that you are signing the correct line. You don't want to sign the line to where it says self-prepare. You want to make sure that you are signing, and that your tax preparer is also signing where they need to as well. All right. So yeah, you want to make sure that they are available, and provide records and receipts. So we get a lot like around this time when the W-2s may not be out completely, because they have a deadline of January 31st to be, sent out to everyone, to all the employees. Like I'll see on Facebook where somebody is saying, hey, come on and get your taxes done today, even if you don't have your W-2. That is the problem. A taxpayer should not be filing your taxes without your W-2. So that is a red flag, okay? So make sure that you are avoiding people that is willing to file your taxes without your W-2. There are a lot of issues that could come about with them filing your taxes when your W-2s have not been issued. All right. So you want to avoid them. Another thing is a good tax preparer. They're going to ask you for and they're going to ask you for your receipts. So you don't want to get kind of, frustrated when your taxpayer may be like, hey, I need some more papers, or, I need for you to confirm this. I need for you to send me this receipt. They are only doing their due diligence, and they are only being a good tax preparer to make sure that all of your I's are dotted and making sure all of those T's are crossed, so that, in the case of an audit, you will be okay. So don't get frustrated when we're like, I need this, or can you send me over these receipts? All of those things are really needed, when we are trying to prepare your taxes and make sure that you have a smooth tax experience. All right. So a good tax preparer, they are definitely going to ask questions to figure out things like your total income, your tax deductions, and credits that you are able to take. Okay. And then the IRS tells us another thing that we need to watch out for as taxpayers is never sign a blank return. I don't even know of an instance of when you would sign a blank return, but you should not be doing that as a taxpayer. Okay, so taxpayers should not use a tax return preparer who asks them to sign a blank return. That sounds very scandalous in its own, right? So you definitely don't want to be out there signing anything blank. That's a no-no. All right. And so the next thing that the IRS tells us is before signing a tax return, the taxpayer should review it. Okay. So within our firm, what we do is we gather your information, we process it, we enter it, and before we finish it, we get on a Zoom with our tax clients and we go through everything. We go through everything line by line so that you have a good understanding of what's happening in your taxes. So it's not like, we're getting your information, putting it in the system, letting you know your refund, or if you have an old balance and you're done. We go through it with you so that you understand why you're getting a refund or why you're having to owe. So you want to make sure that your tax preparer is going over everything with you prior to you signing your taxes. All right. Then if you have any questions or if something is not clear, you're able to really get it resolved before your taxes are e-filed, before they're sent off to the IRS. All right. And then this says that taxpayers should feel comfortable with the accuracy of their return before they sign it. So doing our review, that's when we will talk, we'll discuss any kind of questions or any type of concerns that that our taxpayer would have to, to say, okay, well, yeah, this is why this is, or if we need to revise something, anything that you really need to address with your taxpayer, you could do it right then and there. And so it's not going to be, a thing to where it's after the fact. So that is only to say you kind of have to be comfortable with who your taxpayer is, right? Like you don't want to feel kind of like, intimidated to be able to ask a question. So you want to have like a good relationship to where you're able to say, hey, I don't know what this means. Can you explain it? Can you help me out with this? So you want to be able to ask questions, okay? The IRS says that review details about your refund. Taxpayers should confirm the routing number, the bank account number on their completed return if they are requesting a direct deposit. That's a big one. And that is something that we also do during our consultations with our clients after we have talked about, what is owed or what is due. We talk about the routing number because that needs to be confirmed. Like many times, they could even give us the incorrect bank information, and so that is the issue at the end of the day when it's time for that direct deposit to hit that account. It may go to the wrong account number, and so we like to double and triple check and say, hey, is this bank information correct? Because we can still, put in the wrong numbers, we could switch a number up, or the client can give us the wrong information. And so we want to be proactive when it comes to saying, hey, let's just triple check this bank account number to make sure that you get your money at the end of the day, right? So that's not too hard to ask for. So your taxpayer should be doing that with you. Let me see, what else does the IRS say? Then it's another one that says that all paid tax return preparers must have a prepared tax identification number. That is what we were talking about, which is the P10 number. This number is what all paid tax preparers have to have. They should have. And it says that by law, paid preparers must sign returns and include their P10 on the return that they file. The taxpayer's copy of the return is not required to have the P10 on it, but that original filing must have it on there. So you want to make sure that you see that when you're going over your taxes with your preparer. And then most importantly, it says most tax preparers are honest and provide great services to their clients. However, right? Some preparers are dishonest. That is the truth of it all, is that, we want to think the best of all preparers. Most of them are, they are ethical. They go by the code that we have to abide by. However, you still have some of those rotten apples in the bunch. And so you really have to listen to what the IRS is saying here, because some people just like to abuse the system. And that could be the taxpayers as well as the tax preparers. And then if you have a taxpayer that's out to do wrong and you have a tax preparer that's out to do wrong, then it's a lot of trouble that can come about that. But the IRS says that people can report abusive tax preparers and suspected tax fraud to the IRS. And there is a form that is on the IRS website. It is form 4157. If you need to complain about a tax preparer that may have, ghosted you and you can't get a hold of them, or, they're out there trying to do fraud. So there's that. So the IRS gives you a form that you can complete to, if you need to report someone that is, have done you wrong. And I mean really done you wrong, not because you happen to owe on your taxes. That's not really a taxpayer doing you wrong. It's just that you owe taxes. So, but if you know that they have been, maybe have not contacted you back, or maybe, they did something that is totally incorrect, then yes, I would strongly suggest, making an official complaint. All right. So that's that. That is basically all that the IRS is telling you as a taxpayer. Some of the things that you need to look out for, some of the questions that you need to ask, because it's okay for you to ask us questions. Like we want you to feel comfortable. We want you to, don't have a question in your mind about, how things are moving, what you should be expecting. Like we want to be there to answer all of the questions that you may have. And so moving forward this tax season, if you need help when it comes to your tax preparation services, if you're looking for, a team that is going to really, really have your back and make sure that you are maximizing all of your deductions, maximizing all of those credits to give you the best outcome, you can definitely get on our calendar. Ms. Minor, do you have your email address? You can definitely reach out to us. Do you have it?
I
Let
don't.
me see what we can do.
I don't have
That's
it.
fine. What I'll do is I'll put the link below on this recording, and you can definitely reach out to us, get on our calendar. If you need any help, we are readily available. And we take in-office appointments. We're located in Fayetteville, Georgia. We take in-office appointments as well as virtual appointments too, if you're not located in our state or in our surrounding cities. Um, and yeah, if you have any other questions, let us know. Reach out to us. I can be contacted directly at hello@tkbarlow.com. But we do have a great team of tax preparers that are ready to help you navigate your way through tax season. Okay. Did you want to add anything else in, Miss Minor? Or are you good?
I am good. Thank you.
All right. So that's going to be it for us. And in the meantime, cheers to your success. And we